Our planet, throughout its vast and unbelievable history, has been home to creatures that challenge our imagination. Extraordinary life forms that walked, swam, and flew over this very land, but whose days have come to an end. Today, we will go on a journey through time, an expedition into the records of natural history to explore the 7 most dangerous animals that are now extinct. Beings that, at their peak, were at the top of their ecosystems, fearsome predators, and huge giants that shaped the world around them in ways we are only just beginning to understand. Through fossils, cave art, and stories passed down through generations, we will rebuild the legendary stories of these lost animals. It's not just about bones and facts, but about the story of their existence, their struggles for survival, and the forces, often ourselves, that push them to the edge and beyond. Each one represents a unique chapter in the great book of life, a reminder of nature's weakness and strength and the unstoppable power of extinction. They are ghosts of the past, whose shadows still stretch into our present. I ask you to join me on this journey, to open your mind to the wonders and terrors of a past that is no more. Come with me to discover these magnificent beasts that, luckily for us, we will never meet in person. In the deep, mysterious blue of the prehistoric oceans reigned a predator of mythical proportions. Its name, Megalodon, means big tooth. A modest description for a creature that embodied the absolute terror of the seas. For over 20 million years, this colossal shark patrolled the warm waters of the world, an undisputed ruler whose only limit was the ocean's horizon. Its size was simply astonishing, reaching up to 65 feet long, 3 times larger than the great white. Let's imagine for a moment the scale of this titan. Its jaw, so wide it could swallow 2 adult people side by side, was armed with rows of serrated teeth, each tooth the size of a human hand. With a colossal bite force, the Megalodon didn't just hunt, it annihilated. Its victims included prehistoric whales, giant seals, other large marine mammals. Whale bone fossils with tooth marks tell a brutal story. Its hunting method, pure power and lethal strategy. Unlike great white sharks that attack from below, the Megalodon is believed to have rammed the whale's ribcage. Around 3.6 million years ago, its reign ended. A global cooling of the oceans, falling sea levels, and the loss of its main prey conspired against it. The sovereign of the oceans, unable to adapt, faded into history, leaving only its enormous teeth as a testament to its dominance over the blue planet. In the Ice Age landscapes of the Americas, an iconic hunter lurked among the tall grasses and scattered forests. It wasn't a tiger, despite its popular nickname, but a Machairodontine cat, a group known for their amazing upper canine teeth. This is the Smilodon, the saber-toothed cat, with fangs up to 28 centimeters long, a living dagger forged by evolution for big game hunting. Much more muscular than a modern lion, powerful chest, massive front legs, a muscular neck. It wasn't a long-distance runner. Its body was built for ambush and brute strength. It's believed to have hunted in packs, bison, prehistoric camels, young mammoths. The image of a group of Smilodon working together to isolate and attack one of these beasts. The famous saber teeth were a subject of debate. They were surprisingly fragile. Therefore, the Smilodon couldn't just bite randomly. It first pinned its prey to the ground. The La Brea tar pits have given us an amazing look into the past, with thousands of skeletons found. It disappeared about 10,000 years ago, at the end of the Pleistocene. Climate change, the disappearance of large prey, the arrival of modern humans. The Ice Age dagger was sheathed forever, leaving behind a legacy of power and deadly specialization. 60 million years ago, in the humid and sweltering rainforests that covered what is now Colombia, a creature slithered that seems pulled from a nightmare. Its name is Titanoboa cerreginensis, the largest snake that ever lived. Forget everything you know about anacondas and pythons. The Titanoboa was on a completely different scale. With an estimated length of up to 13 meters and a weight over a ton, it was a top predator in a world of giants. In the warm and humid climate of the Paleocene, life thrived in enormous forms, and the Titanoboa was the undisputed queen of this swampy ecosystem. Its body, as thick as a man's torso, allowed it to move with imposing strength and presence, in the water and on land. Like modern anacondas, it was likely an expert swimmer, spending much of its time in rivers and in swamps, patiently waiting for its prey. Fossils were found in the Cerrejón coal mine, including giant turtles with shells the size of a kitchen table, and huge prehistoric crocodiles. It's believed that the Titanoboa could hunt and consume them. Unlike venomous snakes, The Titanoboa was a constrictor. The discovery in 2009 revolutionized our scientific understanding. The Titanoboa became a giant thermometer of the past, revealing a much warmer world. Today, only its fossilized vertebrae tell us about this leviathan of the lost jungles. On the isolated islands of New Zealand, free from land mammals for millions of years, birds evolved to fill amazing ecological roles. No creature shows this uniqueness better than the moa. It wasn't just one type of bird, but 9, ranging from the size of a turkey to the huge Dinornis robustus, the giant moa. It was the tallest bird the world has ever known. Females could stretch their necks up to 3.6 meters tall, taller than a young giraffe. Unlike many flightless birds such as the ostrich or emu, the moa had completely lost any sign of wings. Their skeletons don't show even the tiniest wing bones. They were creatures that only lived on land, with powerful, strong legs, made for walking through New Zealand's varied landscapes, from thick forests to open grasslands. Their diet was only plants, eating leaves, branches, fruits, and grasses. For thousands of years, the moa's only major natural enemy was the Haast's eagle, the largest known eagle, which hunted these giant birds from the sky in an amazing show of air power. The moa's story takes a sad turn with the arrival of the first humans in New Zealand, the ancestors of the Maori, around the year 1300. For these new settlers, the moa were a large and easy source of food. In less than 200 years, all 9 types of moa were wiped out. It's a lesson about how delicate things are and how much humans can impact them. In the vast plains of the Karoo in South Africa, a unique horse-like animal once roamed. It was a creature that seemed to be halfway between a zebra and a horse. This was the quagga. At first glance, it looked like a zebra, but only in its front half. Its distinct brown and white stripes decorated its head, neck, and shoulders, but they gradually faded to a solid brown color on the back of its body. Each quagga had a unique stripe pattern, like a fingerprint, a wonder of natural individuality. The quagga, which was actually a subspecies of the plains zebra, lived in huge herds that often mixed with wildebeest and ostriches, forming large migrating groups that moved with the seasons in search of fresh grass. Its name, quagga, is an onomatopoeia from the sound of its call, which was said to sound like quahaha. They were social and alert animals, and their presence in large numbers was an important part of the South African grassland ecosystem. The arrival of European settlers in the Cape Colony in the 17th century marked the beginning of the end for the quagga. The settlers, known as Boers, saw these animals as competitors for grazing land for their cattle, sheep, and goats. Also, their hides were valuable, and they were hunted for their meat. As colonization spread inland, a systematic extermination campaign began. The last wild quagga was probably shot in the 1870s. The last known survivor died on August 12, 1883. Today, the quagga is a touching symbol of extinction caused by greed and lack of foresight. On the remote island of Mauritius, in the Indian Ocean, one of history's most famous and tragically misunderstood birds evolved, the dodo. A relative of pigeons and doves, the dodo was a large, flightless bird that weighed up to 44 pounds. For millions of years, it lived in an isolated paradise, a world without land predators. This complete lack of threats shaped its biology and behavior in a way that would ultimately make it fatally vulnerable. The dodo was not the silly, clumsy bird often shown in popular culture. It was a creature perfectly suited to its environment. Its large hooked beak was perfect for opening hard-shelled fruits, and its sturdy build allowed it to thrive in the island's forests. With no need to fly to escape predators, its wings shrank, and its legs became strong for walking on the forest floor. Its lack of fear toward other creatures was simply a logical response to a safe environment. Everything changed in 1598 with the arrival of Dutch sailors. For these men, who had spent months at sea, the dodo was an incredibly easy food source. The bird, which had never known fear, didn't run from humans. It approached them with curiosity, a behavior that was seen as stupidity and sealed its fate. Sailors hunted them in large numbers, even though their meat wasn't particularly tasty. However, direct hunting wasn't the only or even the main nail in its coffin. The real death blow for the dodo came with humans traveling companions. The ships brought rats, pigs, dogs, and monkeys, which ran wild on the island. These new predators and competitors caused havoc in Mauritius's ecosystem. Pigs and monkeys ate the same fruits as the dodo. Rats and pigs were especially destructive to their nests, which were on the ground. The dodo's extinction was surprisingly quick. In less than a century after its discovery by Europeans, the bird had completely disappeared. The last confirmed sighting was in the 1660s. In the forests and shrublands of Tasmania, an island south of Australia, lived one of the most unique predators of the modern world, the thylacine, better known as the Tasmanian tiger. Despite its name and striped look, it wasn't a feline. It was a marsupial, the largest carnivorous marsupial of modern times. Like kangaroos, the females had a pouch, or marsupium, that curiously opened backward. Its appearance was unmistakable: a dog-like body, a stiff tail, and about 15 to 20 dark stripes on its back. The thylacine was a crepuscular hunter, active at dawn, dusk, and night. It wasn't a fast runner, but an endurance predator that pursued its prey until it was exhausted. Its main prey: small kangaroos, wallabies, and birds. One of its strangest features: its jaw could open almost 120 degrees. This allowed for a powerful and precise bite to the skull or neck. It originally lived in mainland Australia and New Guinea, but competition with the dingo led to its extinction outside of Tasmania. It survived there until the arrival of European settlers in the 19th century. The settlers, who were sheep farmers, blamed it for livestock losses. Even though its jaw wasn't strong enough for adult sheep, it became a scapegoat and public enemy. A government bounty was set, and an intense hunt began that lasted for decades, trapped, poisoned, and hunted almost to extinction. Habitat loss and diseases brought in by domestic dogs also played a part. By the early 20th century, it was extremely rare. The last individuals were captured for zoos. The official story ends on September 7, 1936, when the last known one, named Benjamin, died from exposure at the Hobart Zoo. The Tasmanian tiger remains a ghost, a symbol of loss, and a lasting mystery. We've journeyed through prehistoric oceans, stifling jungles, and ice age plains. We've seen the power of the Megalodon, the fierceness of the Smilodon, and the majesty of the Moa. Each of these creatures, mighty in their own way, tells a story not just of strength and danger, but also of being fragile. Their dying out, whether from changes in weather, competition, or very often by human hands, teaches us a deep lesson about how life doesn't last forever and the delicate balance of our planet's ecosystems. These stories are not just interesting facts from the past, they are warnings. The dodo, the quagga, the thylacine, their disappearance is pretty recent and directly because of what we did. They remind us that animals dying out isn't just something from long ago, but a process that's happening faster and faster in our own time. As we think about these lost giants, we must also look at the animals that are now close to disappearing and ask ourselves what kind of world we are leaving for the kids of the future. The world is a less amazing place without them. And now I ask you, which of these animals would have scared you the most to meet? The huge shadow of the Megalodon under your boat, or the quiet stalking of the thylacine in the dark forest? Each one shows a different kind of fear and wonder. Tell us what you think in the comments, and subscribe for more amazing stories from our incredible and sometimes lost natural world. Thanks for coming along with me on this journey.